Good morning, all you happy people. Welcome back to KJ's channel. I'm actually going to do a Saturday video today because I was looking out the window and I saw something and made me think of something I want to talk about for small town pastors. I'm going to turn and show you this. That is a U-Haul. And people are not moving in, people are moving out. Over the past year and a half, we've seen a lot of people move out of Jordan and not that many moving in. And that leads me to a thought that I wanted to share. And it's about rural America, small town life, and how in some ways that's disappearing. But COVID has kind of thought about flipping the script, but not really. So let me explain a little bit more about that. Okay, so before COVID hit, there were several people talking about something they were calling the brain drain. And that is where people were leaving rural America, going to college, getting educated, and then moving to metropolitan areas. And, you know, that led to some of the methodology that we see in our convention with the North American Mission Board. They were focusing on city centers and big places where people were moving to. And that, I mean, you could see it happening. Since we've been here, Eastern Montana, people would move to Miles City, but not very often. Most of the time, people were just leaving for bigger places like Billings or Great Falls or Bozeman. And so with people leaving the agricultural centers and places like this, we started to notice that, you know, the future is going to be sparse out here. I was talking about this yesterday with the pastor buddies of mine. Agricultural world, it takes less people to run the place. Used to, everything was done by hand. You needed a lot of people. You needed a lot of help. Well, now with machinery, you can run a place without that much help and still be able to get it done. And then also the economics that are involved. You can go look it up, talk about agriculture life. There's a lot that's involved there. But there was this brain drain happening. Kids would grow up, go to college, move to the city, find a job, or the suburbs. At the very beginning of COVID, two things happened that I noticed. Number one is that people looked for opportunities to get away from the crowds. Right at the very beginning, Montana's Airbnbs were slammed. They were booked up forever. People were trying to figure out how to get out of the cities and get out to places like this where you have a less likelihood of coming in contact with the virus. The other thing that happened is there was a transition from in-person life to online life. And the combination of those two things, I think, has, over the past year, seen a little bit of a push back out to some of the more rural areas. Now, I say that with a caveat because, as I mentioned, there's not really, because even though Montana is quickly growing and people are moving in, they're not moving to Jordan. They're not moving to Eastern Montana. Most of those people are moving to Bozeman or Kalispell or Billings or places like that. So even in a rural state, they're moving to the city centers. Now, we could spend a lot of time talking about why. That's just a reality for me. So we're taking care of a bunch of chores today. We went down to the church and cleaned, ran a bunch of errands around town, paid some bills. Now I'm taking my glass weld stuff to the garage. This is stuff I put in the car to take to Helena, and we didn't have room, so I had to take it out. But anyway, as we were traveling around town and thinking about the topic for today, I noticed the job opening signs. Most places around here are looking for help, and when people take those jobs. I mean, it's usually their second or third job just to make some extra money and to help town survive. If I wasn't on the boards and stuff right now and the requirements that I have at the state stuff, I would pick up a side job, a part-time job to kind of help things out, but I just can't right now in this stage of life. But also, one hotel recently just changed hands. The other hotel is for sale. Houses that are for sale are usually being bought by other local people here. So anyway, the nature of life and ministry in the midst of that is changing. I don't think you can just be static. And I don't think we've ever been here before. Not in recent history that I can remember. Maybe I could do some research and see what pastors during the Dust Bowl did and how that worked. But it's kind of returned into almost that circuit riding preacher type of thing. So as I stand here looking at another U-Haul about to leave town, I'm not about to make the claim that I have the answers or I know exactly how to fix this. There's so many more questions that need to be dealt with, like, does there need to be a full-time pastor in some of those locations, or does there need to be somebody who travels around? I don't know all those details. How do we fund that? What's the responsibility of the people in that area? Lots of questions. I'm just going to say that I recognize that rural ministry is changing. I know that we'll have to do things different after COVID and moving forward. COVID exposed a lot of realities that we're just going to have to deal with. That's a whole nother video about what COVID did. Moving things to online and the need for people to communicate and talk to one another person to person while still using the benefits. There's a lot that's there, and maybe some of that has to do with rural ministry, maybe not. I don't know. Just going to say we keep plugging along. That's what I'm going to keep doing right now. And as things change and develop, I guess we'll make adaptations as we go. That's one thing I've noticed about rural ministries. You have to kind of be like the rural people. They're ready to improvise and they're ready to adapt at whatever's happening. And you can't just plan to have a 9-to-5 job when you're a farmer or a rancher. Same thing's true when you're in ministry anywhere, but especially rural ministry. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, probably not tomorrow. I probably won't do a video tomorrow, but I'll see you guys Monday.